Two abysses. The young scientist Robert Smith was passionately persuading his wife Margaret. This is the only way out. The only one. Understand me, dear Ma, the world has gone mad. The world will devour itself, east against west, west against east. Arsenals are bursting with nuclear monsters. One more day, two, a year perhaps, and a whirlwind will sweep across the planet. Nothing alive will remain, but I want to live, simply to live and to love you. And our children, Rob, Margaret sighed softly, looking at her husband with her pale blue, transparent eyes. They will be better off. They will never know this cursed world. They will grow used to the new realm. There will be its own romance there, other joys of existence. My Rob, but the sky, the stars. My God, how can one forget them? People long for the sky. Perhaps space will change them. Let us wait, Robbie. No, the scientist cried out fervently, clenching his small, dry fist. His pale face hardened. No, Ma, they will never change. They will carry their hostility to other planets, throw distant worlds into chaos, but it will not come to that. People will choke in a radioactive cloud within the next few years. And the stars, what of the stars? I will bring you a color film of the celestial constellations. You will watch it, and the children will not see the sky. Do we see the spheres of other dimensions? We do not, we even deny them, and so it will be with our children. For them the sky will not exist. Ma, enough arguing. Tomorrow we will be in a new world. What joy, silence, peace, nirvana, true nirvana, complete oblivion of the earthly world. I submit to you, Margaret whispered helplessly, lowering her head. I love you, Rob. He embraced her, kissed the top of her head, breathed in deeply the scent of her soft golden hair. Oh joy, there is nothing higher in the world. A beloved woman. Silence. We shall create a golden age for ourselves and for our descendants. We will limit the number of new births. Robots will create everything we need. All that will remain for us is the pleasure of love and amusement. Billions of years ahead. Billions. Margaret remained silent, her eyes closed. Only her eyelashes trembled as her husband's warm lips touched her cheeks and neck. At dawn they left the city. The stone, reinforced concrete, plastic, and glass colossus was waking, roaring, shuddering. Faded neon advertisements still flickered, as if drained of strength by the night's fiery orgies. Boys ran at street crossings, shouting in hoarse voices. Project of a military base on the moon. The whole Earth under control. Interview with Professor von Graun. Robert contemptuous grunt and glanced at his wife, wrapped in a nylon fur coat. So much for their space. So much for the stars, Ma. The Earth gives you a solid farewell proof that I am right. Margaret did not reply. She watched the noisy newsboys, the solitary figures of policemen, the late lovers wearily returning from suburban parks and woods. Sadness and tenderness were reflected in the woman's transparent gaze, as if she wished to carry with her the memory of such a strange, chaotic, inconsistent, frightening, and wonderful world. To carry it with her, into the realm of silence and oblivion. The car shot onto the highway, raced westward along a gray concrete ribbon. Soon a blue strip of ocean appeared on the horizon. Above it, feathery clouds glowed crimson, lit by the rising sun. Robert drove the car straight to the shore. The wheels bogged down in the sand. He turned off the engine and said, "Get out, we've arrived." Several other cars were standing by the water. A boat was rocking on the waves. A plump, cheerful man waved his hand and shouted,
"Everyone's here already! We're waiting only for you, Rob!"
Robert and Margaret greeted them and stepped onto the boat. They moved out into the ocean. Damp spray sprinkled Margaret's face, and the cold air pleasantly stung her chest. She looked at the sun. A hot, vibrating sphere was slowly rising above the horizon, growing brighter, shimmering with sparks. Margaret felt pain in her heart, an unspeakable longing. Robert squeezed her hand and said, "Look there, a submarine." From the waves emerged a conning tower with a periscope. People were leaning out of the hatch, cheerfully shouting something. Margaret heard nothing, understood nothing. Where she was, what was happening to her. As if in a dream, she moved from the boat onto the submarine, greeting people. It seemed that the nightmare would pass, that she would wake up in her own bed, see the blue sky in the morning, the trembling stars at night, breathe fresh air in a dense forest, gather thick-stemmed, fragrant mushrooms in quiet groves. The nightmare did not pass. With a metallic crash, the hatch closed above her head. In the corridor where she followed Robert, a lifeless light flared on. He led her to a wide porthole. Beyond the clear glass, a green depth was stirring. In it, a large sphere burned like a gemstone. "What is that?" Margaret whispered. "The sun," Robert replied indifferently, settling into a comfortable chair. "The sun," the woman repeated like an echo. Air bubbles rushed upward. The gem-like fantastic sphere grew dim, blurred, and vanished. The machines hummed softly. The people in the cabin were silent. The water beyond the porthole darkened, filling with blackness. "Rob, is this forever?" "Forever, Ma." "My God, I will die of sorrow." "You'll get used to it, Ma. I'll be with you." "The sun, it's gone, it's dead for me." "You'll have 100 sons, Ma. We have created everything a human needs." "Oh, Rob, why did I agree? Why, it would have been better to die beneath the stars." On August 21st of that year, a group of scientists and several wealthy people of America, together with their families, left the continent. They descended in a submarine into the depths of the Pacific Ocean. In a secret place of the Sea Kingdom, an underwater city had long since been created. Everything necessary for human life was prepared there. Biosynthesis factories, living quarters, power facilities, workshops for building new robots and repairing old ones. The inhabitants did not need to interfere in the mechanical maintenance of the city. Everything was done automatically. The creators of the city had a single goal: to secure for themselves and their descendants a carefree, happy life, and above all, to escape the threat of death that hovered over the planet. In the new city, after some time, children were born. Margaret and Robert had a beautiful daughter. The mother named her Zorya. The children knew nothing of earthly conditions, heard nothing about the existence of the boundless sky. They grew up beneath the mass of water, walked in light suits among the seaweed, played with fish, and competed with the dragons of the ocean depths. Time rolled on. No one knew what was happening on the surface of the planet. The older inhabitants died. Robots diligently prepared food, clothing, and diving suits for the new people. And then Zorya grew up. She became a beautiful, slender young woman with the mysterious gaze of transparent greenish eyes. One day she asked her gray-haired mother, "My name is Zorya, Mama. What does it mean?" "I cannot explain that to you, my daughter," Margaret whispered, lying in bed and waiting for death. "You would not understand. You have to see the dawn to know what this Ukrainian word really means." "And where can one see it, Mama?" "In the sky, my child." "The sky? What is that, Mama? I have never heard such a word at our school." The mother sighed, looked sadly at her daughter, and tears appeared in her eyes. "You are not well, Mama." Zorya became frightened. "All right, I won't ask any more." Old Margaret was buried in an underwater grotto. Robert, gray-haired and sallow, spent hours sitting by the transparent window of the hall, gazing at the strange rocks rising above the place of her final rest. Zorya quietly approached him, leaned toward his shoulder, and softly asked, "We will never see Mama again." "No, my daughter." "And why, Daddy? Why? I miss her." "That is the law of nature." "I don't understand you, Daddy, but tell me, what is the sky, and what is a star?" Robert looked at his daughter suspiciously and asked, "Who told you such strange words? Zorya is merely a combination of sounds. It means nothing. Your mother liked it, and the sky is an abstraction, an imaginary sphere. Do you understand? One can imagine anything, even if it does not truly exist." "Strange," Zorya whispered. "And tell me this too, how did we come to this strange city? Where did it come from? Who created the silent metal robots? Nature created them, her father said curtly. Do not think about it, my daughter. Enjoy life. Find yourself a companion. Amuse yourself. I do not like boys, the girl said, grimacing with distaste. They look at me in a strange way. I don't know why. I run away from them into the thickets of seaweed. I feel better there alone. Daddy, what is above us? Above where? Her father grew anxious. Up there where the air bubbles from my aqualung rise. I climbed very high once and noticed something colorful, joyful, and bright. It was round and shining. I wanted to rise even higher, but then a shark appeared and I dove back down. Daddy, what was it? A hallucination, the father said gloomily. From exhaustion. You rose into a forbidden zone, my daughter. I forbid you to do that. You will perish. Do you hear me? I hear you, Daddy, Zorya sighed. But how joyful it was, Daddy, how magical that hallucination. Robert Smith was buried in the grotto as well. All the first inhabitants were buried there, the founders of the underwater city. Their descendants drifted through life in luxurious halls, drowsily existing, crudely pairing off after heavy meals, producing children. In time, the schools were closed. The new children did not wish to study languages or even the primitive knowledge that had once been set down by the creators of the city. Only Zorya could not be satisfied with a mindless existence. Again and again, she recalled her wondrous vision. She longed to experience it once more, but her father's prohibition restrained that desire. Young men persistently pursued her. Zorya fled from them through the airlock into the ocean, hid among the seaweed. Yet her attackers did not retreat. Rage and a beast-like desire appeared in their eyes. One day they ambushed her in the thickets, seized her. Strong, rough hands kneaded her body, dragged her toward the airlock. Zorya struck the rapist desperately in the chest with her feet, tore herself free, and rushed upward with all her strength. The city vanished in the green depths below. Shadows of fish flickered around her. Let me die, Zorya thought, but I will see the wondrous dream. I do not want to return, better to die. Her father had said that above, higher up, there was nothing. Emptiness, non-existence, the sphere of death. She wanted to see that sphere, go back to mockery, to torment, to a worthless, crawling existence. Never. The surroundings grew brighter. Some vivid specks appeared. A great circle began to glow with orange and silvery colors. A vision, Zorya thought. Only it was not as bright as before. But still magical. The mass of water ended. The girl reached the surface and cried out in astonishment. Before her rose the immensity, strewn with myriads of bright lights. Among them drifted a silvery circle, scattering shimmering drops of fire across the surface of the ocean. Zorya splashed a handful of water, flinging it into the air. The space sparkled like a fairy fountain. Is this truly the sphere of death, so beautiful, so fairy tale-like? Why did my father never speak of its beauty? This is not a hallucination. No, I feel it. My mind is perceiving a new, vast reality. A warm wind brushed her neck. She felt its breath and was amazed, so it was not emptiness. There was air, perhaps one could breathe it. Zorya tore off her mask. The scents of the sea flooded her chest. A delicate fragrance of flowers and trees rolling from the dark mass on the horizon intoxicated the girl. He deceived me, father deceived me, but why? And mother knew, she knew and kept silent. That is why she wept, and why she named me Zorya. Perhaps that wondrous circle is called a star. It drifts in the sky. That must be it. Mother said one must see the sky and the stars to understand what they are. Something was awakening within the girl. Long-sleeping feelings were returning to life, stirring her. It seemed that she had once seen the stars and the sky before, had admired the boundless space and tremulously awaited someone bright and desired. Where was that? When? What would she do in this newly discovered world? How would she live? Was she truly destined to perish beneath such beauty, or return back into the green depths, to the drowsy, greedy slugs who wished to enjoy her body? Never. She would lie on her back, let the ocean rock her, let the stars sing their unheard songs. She would fall asleep and die happy. The girl fell asleep in the embrace of the sea. And when she awoke, the stars were fleeing from the sky. The sky itself was turning blue, growing clear, and fluffy clouds flared upon it with shifting lights. Zorya cried out in surprise. Where were the stars fleeing? Would they return again? On the horizon, a red circle was rising. The girl gazed at it with joyful wonder. The circle climbed swiftly into the sky, grew hot, filled with golden colors, and soon it was impossible to look at it. It flooded all of space with a cheerful, life-affirming radiance. Zorya looked around. Not far from her, a strip of shoreline shimmered blue. Tall trees swayed upon it. Delicate, graceful structures gleamed white. Could there really be people here? The girl thought. Yet anything was possible. Her father had deceived her. He had said there was emptiness, yet here was fragrant air. He had said hallucination, yet here was boundless space and strange, floating lights. He had said the sphere of death, yet here were plants and buildings. She swam toward the shore. The white-foamed surf splashed against the rocks. Zorya stepped carefully along the bottom, watching ahead with caution. A figure appeared among the stones. The girl stopped in fright. A young, tall man was looking at her. The wind played with his fair forelock. His powerful figure gleamed bronze, and black eyes flamed with fire. He cried out in surprise. "Where did you come from? I don't recall seeing you on the island." The girl could not utter a word. "What's the matter? Are you mute? Maybe from some ship. Do you need help?" Zorya stirred, smiled shyly, and said hoarsely, "I'm from there." And she pointed to the water. The young man laughed. "Clever, a new mermaid, but I'm not afraid of you. I might even kiss you because you are truly beautiful, enchanting." The girl listened to his words as if to the finest music. What was he saying? And how many unfamiliar words there were. He admired her, and tenderness shone in his eyes. "So there is life here?" Zorya asked timidly. "Where?" The young man was surprised. "Above the ocean. Life is everywhere. Are you ill or something? Tell me seriously, where are you from?" "I told you," the girl said softly. "From under the water. There is a city there. My parents died, and I came to hate my life. I decided to die in the sphere of death, that's what my father said, but here is life. Here is immensity and stars. Only they vanished for some reason." "Wait, wait," the young man exclaimed, his face growing grave. "So that's it. I've heard of the underwater city. Scientists have been searching for it, but they never found it, so you were born there." "There." "They wrote about it," the young man said. "A group of people fled from the surface of the earth under the sea to survive. They feared war. But there has been no trace of war for a long time now. Peace on the planet, flights into space, meetings with other intelligent beings." The girl slowly moved closer to the shore and stretched her hands toward the young man. In wonder, she whispered, "You are not a ghost, not a hallucination. Do I truly see you?" The young man stepped toward her hesitantly, looked into her greenish eyes, like emeralds, like the immeasurable depth of the sea. He gently touched her pale cheek with his fingers, stroked her swan-like neck. "You are warm," she said. "Your touch makes me happy. Only my mother ever caressed me so. Love me, I have no one." The young man's eyes clouded with an incomprehensible feeling. The girl's strange appearance, her unearthly beauty, her uncanny fate stirred his heart and set his blood racing. He embraced her slender waist, drew her close, cool and enchanting. Zorya gazed into the boundless blue sky and wept. And in the transparent drops of her tears, the joyful rays of the sun were playing.